Shalom, this is Mary Omni from the World Government House of King David, Holy Covenant Constitutional Enforcer. This is a Republic Notice. The title of this Republic Notice is called, Why Rachel Jeantel is Smarter Than Most People Concerning the Zimmerman Jury. Why Rachel Jeantel is smarter than most people concerning the Zimmerman jury. You know, we are in 2013, and the propaganda war has never ceased. It's been going on ever since the invention of the television through RCA. Ever since then, it has been Satan, image beasts, talking image beasts. Okay, now, it was used, and they exposed this trial almost as much as the OJs, because they're vampires, and they always want blood. Vampires always want blood. Nothing never ends with vampires, because they always looking for the next suck. Okay? And this is why they continue to act like the Civil War was not won by the Union, because they're vampires. And they want to pretend that their sucking is all that matters. The Constitution and the Holy Covenant and God Almighty is always secondary to their vampire thirst and sucking. Now, when it came to this young woman, Rachel Jeantel, Star Jones and many people commented on her, but we have to understand, the comments that they did fell short to me. And that's just an opinion. And this is why it fell short. It's like I'm asking, how long are we willing to play this game? Okay? How long are we willing to play this game? See, there were the Sadducees and the Pharisees. And then there were the masses, okay? Now, the masses of blacks in America are those who see the absolute corruption of the whole system. Now, what we would call the Pharisees and the Sadducees is some of these blacks who got a little fiat money, or they called attorneys, or they belong to organizations like the NAACP, the Herb League, and, or the Bar Association. In this modern day, these would be what you call the ones who want to protect their Pharisee or Sadducee position and to be willing to sacrifice Christ for their position. And this is why this young girl, Rachel Jeantel, what she said to people in her street vernacular, and they tried to propaganda her as a fool. Now, you might not have the best reading or writing skills, but reading and writing has nothing to do with intelligence, because Harriet Tubman couldn't read and write, but her intelligence was supreme. Always remember that. See, because they try to trition us out of basic reading and writing skills, and they act like because they do that, our intelligence is not there. Harriet Tubman's intelligence was there, and she was illiterate, and she did more than many people who could read and write. Now, I don't know what they trying to say about Rachel Jeantel. I don't know her skill level as far as reading and writing, but I do know that she's more intelligent than most people in America. And I mean blacks, whites, and these so-called attorneys, and these blacks who want to assume the position of the Pharisees and the Sadducees. See, because the Pharisees and the Sadducees came to agreement in the crucifixion of King Jesus. Now, these were supposed to be his people, but they wanted to come in agreement in the conviction and the crucifixion of him to maintain some of their so-called social order or whatever they thought they had. And the Sadducees did not believe in the resurrection. The Pharisees did, but they still agreed with the Sadducees on the crucifixion of Christ. Now, what does this have to do with that? Because it seemed like I'm all over the place, so I'm going to try to bring it in. You got different levels of black people that done been brainwashed that they so-called middle class and they so-called this. You got the NAACP still calling themselves the National Association of Colored People. You got the Urban League there. And now these people, especially the NAACP, I mean, when are you going to take that colored out and call it the National Advancement of Constitutional People? I mean, when does the Constitution ever come into play? I mean, you've been on the scene for, what, 102 years? I mean, why do you not take the Constitution and put that above color and race, okay? And why do the Urban League and the NAACP and all these so-called attorneys not know what Rachel Jeantel knew? And this is what Rachel Jeantel said. She said, this jury is old school. My generation is not buying this. What she mean is that this is a bullshit kangaroo. This is a bullshit kangaroo. This is a bullshit kangaroo jury here. Now now she didn't use them words, so I'm paraphrasing. But in plain language, that's what she meant. This is some BS here. You got 6 white women and 1 Hispanic woman, have nothing to do with a jury of peers. So the beginning of it is nothing but a kangaroo show. A kangaroo show that these so-called organizations, the NAACP, the Urban League, the so-called black attorneys, will sit and watch done to their people to hold on to a little piece of fiat or whatever they think that they got, because they're going to close the door on them too. I mean, anybody with common sense will know that this jury had nothing to do with constitutionality whatsoever. And why we went along with it is why we got what we got, okay? I mean, that jury should have been done away with from the beginning. You didn't have one constitutional citizen on that jury. Sabrina, Tracy Martin, and Trayvon Martin is constitutional citizens. So these are foreign and corporate indoctrined people, which means that that court and that whole jury was set up in a kangaroo to base it on a kangaroo decision. Because if it's a kangaroo jury, it's a kangaroo court, and it's a kangaroo decision. It's just kangarooing all over there, hopping all over, you know, the so-called justice is blind concept. And Rachel Jeantel put her middle finger up mentally because she told them that this is old school. In other words, the game you playing with this kangaroo jury of all white and none of Trayvon Martin peers or none of my peers is old school. She said that's old school. That's the kind of stuff that they did back in the day to kill a mockingbird. You know, they set them same kind of things up with when Emmett Till was murdered. I mean, how in your face corrupt can a jury and can a court system be? I mean, this is corruption on steroids from the beginning. The whole jury was corrupt. You know, the concept that of jury of your peers, white people know about. But see, they have selective blindness about this truth of law when it comes to black people. They have selective blindness and they say, oh, your peers don't matter. Well, suppose it was the other way around. And it was a white boy that was killed by black Hispanic. And they got a jury of all black people. And then got one black Hispanic on it. Would that be a jury of their peers? No. And it's the same thing. It's an absolute travesty at the beginning. And the abomination is, I only heard Jesse Jackson say that this was not a jury of peers. And he didn't profess this to me strong enough that this was just actually a kangaroo setup court. I mean, this is blatantly in your face. It's just Satan on steroids. It's just Satan in his flamboyant regalia on steroids, like in your face. In your face, we're going to give you a kangaroo jury, a kangaroo decision, a kangaroo this, a kangaroo that. Because we're telling you you're either dumb as hell or we don't give a damn. See, it's only going to be them two things. Black people is dumb as hell, or they just don't give a damn no more. They want to flaunt Satan in your face. See, it's one of them two things. And Rachel Jeantel said, you know, this is some old school mess you're trying here. This has nothing to do with me and my generation. We're not going for this nonsense. We see right through it. It's nothing but kangaroo. Now, she didn't say it in the terms of this is not a jury of peers. This is some foreign corporate jury meant to flash Satan regalia, meant to call themselves smashing dookie in the face of black people after one black person has died. But that's okay, because my thing is, as long as they understand that there is a law of karma that they cannot get around. See, the law of karma, they cannot get around. And it may take a while to circle, like Dr. Martin Luther King said, but it will definitely come. And it will definitely come. And as the earth speeding up, it's getting ready to come real faster. So that one Trayvon Martin is going to cost somebody 70 or more lives. And it's going to be sooner than you think. It ain't going to take as long now, because the earth is speeding up. And the earth is moving away from low frequency. So I'm saying this. It's time that people start talking constitutionality in these organizations. You know, you need to demand that if the NAACP starts sticking its head in whatever going on with black people, they're not representing them unless they're using the Constitution. You need to tell the Urban League you're not representing us unless you use the Constitution. See, because constitutionally, this jury wouldn't even saw the light of day. And then again, we come reactionary when it should have been a proactionary thing, and there should have been a big protest about the jury itself, rather than trusting a crooked system who cannot change its nature or cannot change its satanic authority on its own, okay? It's incapable of law, and we gotta stop talking on terms of equality. I'm sorry to tell you, but white people in this country is not equal to the Constitution. And we're constitutional citizens. There is no equality. Blacks are the supreme citizens. The supreme constitutional citizens by constitutional supremacy. If they can't prove what I'm saying is wrong, we are supreme. I'm not looking for no equality with them, because equality to them is a satanic court, a kangaroo. That's their equality. I'm in supremacy. We under constitutional supremacy of God's law and biblical people and heritage. This is Mary Omni from the House of King David. Shalom.